Hi guys, hello my people, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to another installment of Vlogtober. This is not a vlog, I was going to say a new vlog, but welcome to another episode of Vlogtober. So to the people who already know, on Saturdays for Vlogtober I've been doing sit downs, and the past 2 weeks have been story time, and I was going to continue with part 3 of that, but I just thought that as this is the last Saturday of Vlogtober, how about I speak about something very dear to me, and that is motherhood. I would like to speak about the lessons I have learned and the challenges that I have faced and I am currently facing as a mother. So just to give a brief background, I am a 29-year-old mother of 3 beautiful girls. I became a mother for the first time in 2019. My first daughter is 6 years old now. So over the past few years I have actually learned a lot. As a 29-year-old, I am wrapping up my 20s, and I think this would be a great time for me to reflect, speak on my growth and my experiences in such a way that hopefully somebody can learn a thing or two from my own experience and my own lessons. And the first thing that I would like to touch on, that I think is a very important thing that you need as a mother, is patience. You need to be patient with kids, and sadly I've struggled a lot with that. If you're new to this channel, I like being very authentic with my followers, and with that part I have been very I've struggled a lot, as a Christian mother. You would think that certain things would come natural because you are a Christian and you've been raised in a Christian family, and then you have a child and you're just like, what's going on? I remember Iwatali used to cry a lot at night. When she has to sleep, she would cry. Like most of the time she would cry, and I was just not patient. I couldn't understand, like, why are you crying? Why don't you just sleep? That's something that has been recurring throughout my kids, that at an early stage with my two, the first two actually, because we've suffered. So the last one, it was very different. When she was young, she was okay, but only now when she's like a year old are we struggling with the things that I struggled with when the other two were younger. So that also speaks of how different kids are. You need to also understand, that's the other thing that I've learned, that kids are different. You don't make the mistake of thinking that all your kids will be the same. People have different. I am different from my sister. I'm different from my husband. I'm different from everybody else in the world. Therefore, even with my kids, I approach my parenting towards them in that way, that even in the way that I relate to them, I relate to them as individuals, not as a group, because people are different, So going back to patience, right? Patience is very key, because lack of patience will really frustrate you. And I have come to understand that patience is not perfection, because for me, I've always thought that patience, when I say that I am patient, it would mean that everything around me is perfect, that I'm able to, I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't allow any other emotion I shouldn't allow my body or myself to have any other emotion, because I have attained patience. But I've learned that that's not the case. Well, for me, guys, again, now we're talking about my own lessons. I've learned that that's not true. We need to really allow ourselves to feel certain emotions. God didn't create us as robotics. He created us with emotions, and we need to learn to allow ourselves to feel and not act like we are robots, or we you know, sometimes we feel certain things and we block them out, you know. I think it was a blog that something that I was reading, where they were saying, where they were talking about allowing yourself to feel different emotions and being able to identify and say, I am angry, you know, and be angry for that time. I am happy, and, you know, be happy, just like that, you know? And then another thing that I also want to touch on, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. Hey, I always say that. If you really have been following me, you will know that I always say this. Another thing that I am also realizing is that don't put a time frame to certain things that you are learning as a mother, you know, because that's going to destroy you. Because you will say, like for me, I have been so hard on myself and saying, I need to be patient, I need to be patient, I need to be patient, that the slightest mistake or the slightest, I would say, error, maybe, for lack of a better word, if I am impatient with my kids, then I beat myself up, you know, and I'm like, no, I'm supposed to have this all figured out by now, which is not the case. Going back to what? Patience is not perfection. All right. And then to go to the next lesson, I'll say the next one is love your kids. I love your kids. And I recently came across a book. I saw it on Bumi Ledoba's story not so long ago, The 5 Languages of Kids. And I bought it on Libby. I used this other app to read. So it was available, and then I bought it, but I didn't really read much. But the first few pages, the author speaks of, well, he narrates a story of how he came across some parents who were struggling with their son, and they attended the author's sermon when he was talking about the five love languages. Well, it was not for kids when he was making the presentation, it was just the 5 love languages, and they could identify that actually what we are doing, the way we are loving our son is not how he wants to be loved. He wants to be loved, you know. And from that, I realized that I need to learn what are my kids' love languages, you know. I do see, like, for example, Gabo is a very affectionate person. Gabo will hug you. Gabo will come and say, Mommy, I want to sit next to you. Mommy, please can you carry me? You know, that's Gabo for you. And Botlale wants you to spend time with her. Like, I'm just identifying the key ones that I have identified, and I think those are their love languages. But I'm yet to read the book fully and understand and see as we progress what are their love languages. Botlale wants you to sit down with her and read a book with her. Botlale wants you to play with her, you know, and affirm her. Well, I see that in both of them, that they need affirmation. And the need for affirmation, I would say that predominantly is something that comes from me as their mother, I would say, because I have always been somebody who needed to be affirmed, you know. And I don't know if I would be right to say that perhaps the way I have lived my life, they have taken by way of, you know what they always say, that kids don't just listen, they do what they see you do, you know. So by how I am always, perhaps even in my speech, in how I communicate, in everything that I do, perhaps there is that thing that I need to be affirmed, you know. Maybe I'm just thinking that they also felt like this is what we need to be affirmed. They like it so much when I say, Gabo, I'm proud of you, but I'm very proud of you, you know. So loving your kids the right way, because sometimes earlier this year, yes, it was this year. Earlier this year, we saw just a drastic change in Gabo's behavior. She cried a lot. She would make ridiculous demands. And I was just angry. And like that anger was coming from the other situations that were going on in our lives, you know, and I didn't give her the care and the love that she needed. I think what she needed, like I'm saying, was to be loved, right? Was for me to bring her and say, Gabo, come here, Nana. Sit her down and ask her what's wrong. But I was not doing that. I would just be like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Why would you want that? You know, she would just be making ridiculous demands. Like, for example, I made this example that there was a time when we had even gone back to putting her on a nappy because she was peeing on herself, like it was bad. And auntie was changing her nappy and she's like, you know what, I don't want to wear a nappy. You need to clean the room first. It's at night, guys. You need to clean this room first before I put on the nappy and my night clothes. That's something that's impossible. Auntie needs to finish getting them dressed. I think I was cooking in the kitchen. When is she going to get the time to clean in the bedroom? And then only then will Gabo get dressed. But with time, we started giving her the love, or showing her love the way she wants to be loved, you know. She just needs that hug. She needs that kiss. And another lesson that comes out from this is that as I am hugging her, as I am doing all of these little things, she appreciates that. I'm not going out to go and buy her. There's another love language, yeah, gifts, you know. But I want to emphasize this, that for kids, what I've learned is that it's those little things, those little moments that make them more happy than you going out and buying them the greatest or the most expensive things that you think would make them happy. I hope you guys don't I hope you guys get or understand where I'm coming from, right? And with that, I have tried my best over the past few years to spend those little moments with my kids. I play with my kids. I will sit down and color with my kids. I will sit down and paint with my kids. I will sit down and or just be in the kitchen and be like, come, let's bake. We bake together. Try and involve them in whatever that I'm doing so that they don't feel like mommy's always doing this, mommy's always busy. You know, even in that business, try and in those, obviously you won't be able to involve them in everything. But if there's something that you can involve them in, that also helps you, because as mothers, we are busy. We are trying to, you know, achieve our goals. You know, we are working. There's just a lot that's happening. So hence I'm saying those little moments where you're just like, hey, I'm baking. Hey daughter, come and join me. Hey son, come and join me. It's those little things that will actually make them happy, right? And then lesson number 9, but yeah, I don't know what number, how many I have listed so far, but the next lesson that I have learned is learning from your mistakes. And that also speaks to being aware of how you are parenting and reflection. You know, you cannot learn if you do not reflect and see that you made a mistake. You know, sometimes they won't tell you, but like my kids, they do sometimes say to me that I'm very loud. I'm loud, and they sometimes come and say, you're screaming at us, stop screaming at us. You know, it takes reflection, and I am still very, very much in the process of trying to, you know, be soft and speak to them in a manner that they would appreciate. You know, you can only learn from your mistakes if you give yourself time to reflect. If you don't reflect on how you are parenting, you will never see your mistakes. You will keep doing them, and even if somebody else tells you, you won't want to accept, because you don't give yourself. Because my husband used to sit me down and say, no, Salwana, sit down, like calm down. You know, they are kids, just calm down and like let's try and understand why they did so wrong, why they did so. you know. And of late, there's something that I am also trying to do, you know, or that is a challenge, let me say, for me. Guys, now I worry about the smallest of things. They will spill water and I'll be like, why did you spill water? You know, and I'm trying not to worry about those small little things, because I can actually just stand up and wipe that water. Like, nobody, it's not something that's huge, you know. So I am learning, doing that. So it took me time to reflect and say, no man, like, that one is a mistake and I need to learn from it. I don't just identify, oh, this that I'm doing, or whatever that I'm doing is wrong, and just continue with life. We identify them so that we can address them and correct them, right? And then the other thing that I have learned as a mother is that our journeys are unique. Our journeys are unique, and don't get or fall into the trap of comparing yourself with another mother. Don't fall into the trap of doing that. I used to do it. I used to do it so much that I was getting frustrated with my kids. I'm just like, they are not like so and so's kids. Why do you do this? Like, why do you act like this? Why do you do this? And it was only hurting me and my kids, until I got to a point where I was just like, and so forth are not who so and so and so. They are unique. And I don't even know the circumstances around that other mother's life and their kids. And guys, with social media, something that also made me understand and move away from this comparison trap. We show you what we want you to see. I won't run to the bedroom and get my tripod and my phone and put them there when I am reprimanding my kids and, you know, I'm angry at my husband. I show you what I want you to see, and that doesn't mean that we don't go through certain things like fights. We don't, well, not fights per se, we don't argue, all of those things. I was listening to Mpumi Dwaba. There's a video that was posted, I don't know by who, what channel is that, where the book launch, it was the book launch at Rosebank, and she mentioned something that you don't get to see those things, but that the example that she made was that I don't run and get my camera and show you that I'm having an argument with my husband. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It does happen. It's just that I don't show it on camera. You don't see it. And we make the trap and mistake of just taking whatever that we are being shown on YouTube, on Instagram, on all social media platforms, and going with that and making our lives difficult, because you're looking at Gamheads and you're just like, her life is perfect. Like, now I'm struggling with Tete. Tete doesn't sleep. We're trying to get her into a routine. Don't fall into the trap of comparing your life with mine and saying she does this. You don't know what do I do to make sure that I get time to make, like the other day we made kotas with the kids. You do not know, you know. And then the next lesson would be that you will always need a community. You will always need community. You will always need people around you that you can rely on for help. You cannot do it alone. I don't think, for me, I don't think I can do this motherhood thing alone. You know, I am very fortunate and blessed to have a partner that helps me and a helper that I can always rely on. You know, like I'm saying, Tete is struggling with sleep. I can always say in the morning that, hey, it's Saturday, like today it's Saturday. She slept late, so can I sleep until, or take a nap during the day, or wake up late, you know. And they would, if she wakes up, and obviously there's 2 more kids that needs to be attended to, they would help with the other kids while I sleep, you know. So support is very important. It can be from your friends. Maybe you're a single mom. It can be from your friends. It can be from, but just get yourself surrounded by people that are willing and able to help you throughout this motherhood journey. The next lesson would be that learn from everybody, guys. Train yourself to learn from each and every person that you meet, and one thing that I think I appreciate in my life at the moment is that I am exposing myself to listening to mothers, listening to podcasts and preachings, and like all of these sources of information where I can uplift myself, not just and this content is not that the things that I'm talking about or the information that I'm talking about is not just about motherhood, but from whatever that I'm learning, I'm able to learn something that relates to my journey as a mother. So open yourself up to learning. I was listening to Apostle Joshua Selman, and he was saying that don't just learn from successful people, learn from those that fail too, because there are lessons that the person who has failed can teach you that the successful person cannot teach you. There are lessons that you can learn from a mother who has 5 kids, and there are lessons that you can learn from a mother who has never had kids and is grateful throughout that. There's always something that you can learn from different people. Never ever underestimate people. Never. Always be willing to have a heart that's always willing to learn, a mind that's always willing to receive information and learn. I'm not saying you must accept everything that comes your way. We have different beliefs, we have different standards. Always listen to things and read things, and find out information about things that align to your religion, to your beliefs, so that you are able to learn from those people. I hope I'm making sense. And the next one, which I will close off with, not that I'm saying it's the least, but I feel like actually it's the most important. Prayer, guys. Prayer is very important. I mentioned how Kabo was just acting up and was just doing things that we didn't know. She would take off her clothes in the middle of nowhere. She would just stand up in front of the TV and start taking off her clothes. And I would be, why are you taking off your clothes, And in all of that, I started praying for her. I started writing down prayers for my daughter. And guys, through that interlink of me praying and trying to show her love in the way that she appreciates, I saw God. I really did see God. And not just in Gabo's life, even in Botlhale and Tsofat's life. I pray a lot for them. I pray for everything, guys. There's so much that's happening in this world. I was actually speaking to my mom yesterday, and I was saying there's so much evil happening around South Africa lately that there is such a great need for prayer. And this does not just speak to the need for prayer for kids, but prayer for the nation at large, But in this instance, it is important for us to pray for our kids. They cannot pray for themselves. Bring them up, especially with my kids. My kids are very young. I do teach them prayer, but I have to hold them up and stand up in their position, in the gap, and say, Father, here are my kids. You said they are a blessing. Bless them. I speak blessings over them, I speak all of these great things over them, so the most important for me is prayer. And I hope you have loved this. I hope you have enjoyed this. I tried making it as short as possible. Please engage with me in the comment section and let me know what is your let's say the greatest lesson that you have learned in your motherhood journey. Let's learn together. Somebody will read your comment and learn something from it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.